Here we go. No, I can sit at the table. Hello, hello.
They're proposing 23 off the car class.
Yeah.
Is it saved?
There is an alternative.
Because I watched the NNDC one. I subscribed to those.
I think
But these ones go on to YouTube and you subscribe and you get
Thank you for attending. Item number 1, apologies for absence.
We've had apologies from Councillor Brown and we've had apologies from Town Clerk Wendy Murphy as she's become overwhelmed with stress over the past few months, so I am participating today.
Okay, thank you. Any declarations of interest on items on the agenda from me is on item 18. Anyone else? No? Good. Item 3 then, minutes of the last meeting. Item 11 was amended because it originally said I proposed and seconded the meeting, but that's been corrected. Any comments on page 1? Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. And page 5. In that case, I propose that we accept those. Someone would like to see that? All in favour?
Well, I'm abstention, Chairman, so I was not present at the meeting.
Yes. Thanks, Paul. Item 4, any matters from the last meeting or the action on? Have you got anything on there?
The March report was in the pack, but basically we've had some events, postcards done, they're being distributed. Highways team, we've had a little update, but I'm sure we'll hear more from about highways. We've got a new office administrator, maternity cover started the office team. There's a piece about the Heritage and Information Centre needing some insurance. Lots of tree works, but we're going to talk about that when we get to the DNA decisions. The internal scrutineers report was completed by Councillor Heinrich, and that's included in the pack. There's some bits about being added to the handbook. And finally, with Santander closing, a new cash access assessment has been completed, and discussions are being held for a banking hub with an ATM at Devolution.
Thank you. Item 5, Mayor's announcements. Nothing specific really, but just to remind you, the annual town meeting is on 17th of April. I think we're trying to round up a wide range of groups to be involved.
We've got some groups coming to do talks and presentations.
Thank you. Because item 6, the public participation for district county councillors. Who was going first?
Should we let Saul go?
Looking at me there.
Looking at
Looking at me, Mr. Chairman. Oh, well,
How kind of you.
thank you. Well, a short update, I think, to spare you. So, county matters, we had a full council today at county. So still sort of recovering from that really, because it was quite an odd meeting, but quite exhausting, as they normally are. Questions around to the leader of the county about the local government reorganisation, and particularly the proposed unitary authorities. The county administration seems keen on one unitary for Norfolk, but the district councils all over the last few weeks have had meetings and discussed and debated it, and 6 out of 7 of them have voted for either a 3 unitary model or a 2 unitary model. And obviously North Norfolk colleagues can fill you in a bit more on the debate that happened there, because I missed that last week. But from a county point of view, it's interesting. So how that works, the districts have said this, county perhaps thinking something else, so there clearly needs to be a discussion and a debate between them, because it's very important that the districts are heard when representations are sent back to government, and the districts' voices are heard in that. It is open to public consultation at the moment as well, so should you wish to put forward your views on the future of local government in Norfolk, then go to the county website and you can see it there. I think that runs until the middle of April, around about 13th, something like that. So there's time to do that should you wish. I think it's important to do that, and I would hope that the county would listen to. It was raised today, an interesting question: if the people of Norfolk say we don't want this model, whether that will be listened to. I'll leave you to make your own mind.
I did see in a Norfolk thing today that if there was a single unitary, it would save 29 million a year, but if there are 3 unitaries, it would cost more.
Yes, I think there might be a certain spin put on it, because I think there is evidence from other single unitaries that might not be necessarily the case. But I think there is a lot of politics in it, and we probably need to take that out of it, to be honest. I'm not sure the modelling's been done for Norfolk yet on that one, but I think the government's preferred model, and they're pretty important in all of this, is for a unitary to have around sort of 350,000 people in. So that would suggest certainly 2 or 3 for Norfolk. I think our population is more around about 900,000, something like that. Steve?
Sorry, so I saw something yesterday, and they said it's 350 to 500,000.
Okay.
So that
would be 2.
Quoted on the website.
Yeah.
I was perusing it yesterday.
Yeah, no, well, thank you. So that would be 2 then. So I think all of that makes it seem that 1 would be quite a big authority, but we shall see. I don't think there's any other. Or Lucy can fill you in if there's anything else from a sort of a county perspective. We had a very good meeting with the highways team last week, I think. A walk and a talk through the new scheme on Grammar School Road and up to the crossroads. We made sure, actually, we thanked them publicly today at the county council meeting, because I think they have been accommodating, and things have gone as well as I think we could expect so far. So that was really interesting to come up to speed on that. They're on schedule to finish sort of mid-June, which is encouraging. Obviously, Grammar School Road, the lights have gone now, but obviously the filter and everything else will be open at about the same time. I think I'm confident in saying, on behalf of North Walsham in Bloom, they were happy with what's happening there, but Eric can probably bring you up to speed on that. So really, really positive. I haven't really taken any incoming lately on stuff. There's obviously still issues on Aylsham Road, which I think we're still working on. But other than that, there have been suggestions for sort of one-way systems around the town. I've asked highways about, but they haven't. That hasn't gone ahead. But we've asked the questions anyway. We did say, could we have some sort of bollards refreshed on Millfield? And I think they're now looking at putting some bollards on, and they may have done so on the Cromer Road junction, just on the crossroads there, just back from the crossroads into town, because there was parking sort of all the way up to the crossroads, which was causing a bit of problems. So I don't know whether the bollards have gone in, but they were going to put some there to stop that problem, if possible. Hello, Barry.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else at that meeting can add anything to that, but I think I might have hopefully covered it all, but happy to take any questions. Steve?
Keeping an eye on that, the new bollards that were put out on Millfield Road, picked up, shoved in the pavement.
Were they?
That was when I drove past yesterday.
Okay.
I've been chased for any updates on Spencer Avenue, Leicester Close, with the water pits, the barriers, and Lucy's waving at me saying she's got answers for that. So.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'll defer to her. Superb. That's what we like.
So I'll start with that element. There are 2 locations in North Walsham where a similar situation has happened, and that's where the drainage system that was in place has collapsed. So when we talked about Spencer Avenue last, there was flooding on the road.
Yeah.
And the reason that there's flooding on the road is because the drainage system has collapsed. So I'm just awaiting a report on how much it's going to cost to fix both of those issues. I think there's 4 in total across the town, but I'm really actually quite grateful for the patience of local residents in that it's costly. That's the main barrier at the moment. How much is it going to cost the county council? And we know the county council's stretched. As soon as I've got a report, I'll forward it on to the town council. I'm really happy to do that. Sorry
to interrupt. Is there any way that we could mitigate with the residents by maybe a leaflet shoved through the door just to let them know?
I'm totally happy to do that. Yeah, I can do that.
If you could sort something out.
Yeah.
I am getting emails and they are being very patient, but I thought, well, they know Saul and yourself have been looking into it. But if anything, just to keep them updated.
Yeah, I can write to residents. That's not a problem.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So apart from that, I'm mostly potholes, which everybody would expect at the moment. We're seeing, especially in Saul's division, some degradation of the roads because of increase of traffic being pushed down roads that don't normally go there. So at the moment, I'm slowly getting around the town again. I have seen some quite big issues, which were small issues not so long ago, which have really impacted, and some really unresolved issues which the county council seem reluctant to fix because they're not big enough problems. So once the works are completed in Saul's division, I will be going around as I do on a walk to make sure everything's reported. Everything seems to be getting fixed quite rapidly at the moment, of which I'm happy about, but it's the longevity of the fixes that I'm concerned about. I did want to offer my thanks to the town council for supporting with the speeding issues we've got in the town. I know Sol and I purchased the SAM 2 out of our highways budgets, and that's been put to good use. And as such, I will be purchasing another SAM 2 for the town council out of this year's budget, so that we've got more ways of recording, because I know that residents are really supportive of bringing to our attention where there are speeding issues. So I think in total we'd have 3 recording devices for the town council. So I'm really grateful for the work that's been done there. And obviously the police have responded and supported as well, which is quite impressive. We've got a really good partnership going on. I just wanted to let the town council know that I have received today, and I've shared it with district and county colleagues, a response which will be forwarded regarding the Munsley Road site. So Highways have done their first response, which obviously includes all of our concerns. So I feel quite positive that that's been noticed, but I'll be meeting with district and county colleagues to see if there's anything else we'd like them to include or change perhaps ahead of them submitting it as part of their response to the planning application. Just to touch on the devolution aspect of what Saul mentioned, whilst this is happening to us in one form or another, the one thing that I'm really concerned about, and I have raised over and over again, is that the mayor will come with a precepting ability.
Yeah.
So where this may save money for the government, it's not going to save money for local people, and I'm really concerned about that. And the same with local government reorganisation. What we anticipate is, in whichever unitary formed, there'll be an equalising of the council tax. Now, I can't for a minute sit here and say that everybody's council tax will go down to the lowest level, because Band D, North Norfolk, is going to be different to Band D elsewhere. So it's not just the fact that there'll be an additional precept, it's what we don't know about the council tax increases that will come through unitaries, not because people are putting the council tax up, but because there'll be some kind of equalisation across the unitaries. So while the government are proposing this as a money saving exercise for them, it's definitely not a money saving exercise for us, because I don't believe we'll see our council tax bills decrease. That's all my county update now.
I'll just say on North Walsham in Blue, yes, I was present. The county highways people have left the grammar school roadway in a good state. There will be some replanting will have to be done there, as well as the soil. But they did offer to say that they have access to water on site, and they will provide that to us when we're planting new shrubs, which has been gratefully received. In relation to the monthly road planning application, on behalf of the town council, I will be going to the hearing of the planning inspector on April the 8th to give the town council's viewpoint. We've had a meeting with the other people who are expressing opposition to this development, so we can coordinate our approach. I will be dealing with the highways issues in particular, and I've just been handed tonight a letter that we've got here from Highways about the position at the current time, so I'm well versed now in the information that's required. And also there is a SAM 2 with Dusborough Court, which has been put at the junction of Bingate Road and Munsley Road this morning, so that we will have accurate information on vehicle movements in Bingate Road and on that junction, which will be necessary when we go to see the planning inspector. The only other thing, just whilst I'm on this, is that the interesting development that's taking place is that objections have been raised by the developers about going to Munsley Road, both from the western side of town and also a developer on the other side of town. They don't think that that's the western side. In essence, their argument is that it doesn't help that development, and the other one is that their site is a better place than the one at the end of Munsley Road. That's all, Chair.
Okay.
Can you just say a little bit about the Green Streets project, which is coming to an end this phase? I want to say thank you very much to all the residents who stepped up and leafleted their street and placed orders for trees for their neighbours. Distributed over 200 to residents for their front gardens. And also thank you to James. We've planted 100 plants in a hedge to mitigate flooding at the back of the Ben Road, and 15 birch alongside the bypass to screen houses from the traffic and the light. And massive thank you to Eric and Wendy and Jasmine, who've been so supportive for the whole project. It wouldn't have happened without them. Just wanted that to go on record.
Thank you. How many trees have come to North Walsham as a result?
So over 200 in residents, mainly front gardens, some wanted them for their back gardens, and well, so 420 basically was the total amount. I've still got some hazel left if anybody wants any.
I think, well done, Kate. Fantastic. So to add to that, it's probably more roads. I'm sorry if that's not very exciting to everybody. Obviously, we've got the local plan, which will be coming to some kind of final consultation stage at some point. And with that in mind, and the increase in large vehicles going through smaller roads as a result of the works that we've seen going on, which obviously are much needed, but the HGV is going through small residential roads, not so much. We've had to look forward to the potential impact of the Western development for the town. So working with local residents and again, local members, we will be looking to hold a public meeting similar to the one that we did for W16 to get residents' feedback on the link road that we all campaigned so hard for, to try and create a stronger voice to make sure that that's really listened to and potentially implemented ahead of time. I know Paul's going to shake his head a little bit, knowing the likelihood of that, but I don't think that we can be quiet on that. And then Mally's on his way, so he's slightly late. But I did say that if he didn't get here on time, I would just update. Oh, here he comes. I was just about to give you a run.
Me in the thing. Carry on if you're doing it.
No. I was
As if
just
by
about
magic.
to.
As if by magic. Almost.
I was just about to update on the progress that's been made on the bin, so I thought you can do that now.
Oh, well, now I'm sorry. As quick as I could. Roadworks offline. Conveniently.
Why not?
Yeah, so there was a site meeting. We discussed all of the issues that exist there with the bins. And obviously David is concerned about people having weddings or possibly being one of the last journeys a loved one will take, and the mess that's proliferating there. It's not getting any better, it's just getting worse and worse. And with more flats being brought into use, it's only going to compound the issue. The idea of bag collections, or sack collections, has been raised. I think we'll probably just see a lot of fly tipping off of that. But James has been doing a really good job of clearing down the side, and the site that's allocated behind the chippy that could be used as a bin storage, a communal one. All of the residential ones can be moved. Conversations with businesses will be had to suggest that no bins should be stored there, because it's also potentially, I believe, an officer came and checked from district to say that actually it's a bit of a fire hazard really from a health and safety point of view. If you had to escape one of the properties, the odds on you running into a bin, injuring yourself in the dark, and you just get nowhere, are you? So hopefully, there's been, as I say, James has done a really good job of clearing down by the stones. There was a suggestion the stones could be moved. That's a massive no-no as far as I'm concerned. If you set a precedent of moving any of those stones, everyone will want all of the stones moved. And even David has said, well, they have records of all of the stones and they don't actually know the order that they belong in. And it will become a difficult boundary if we start moving them. There's a lot of extra work. So Coffee Smiths has moved recently, so obviously they've moved their bins, which mean I seem to be becoming the bin councillor. I'm not happy about it. It seems to be happening. So they've been moved down by the wall where these old toilets would have been. I think with the conversation with Sue Ryder, they have a larger bin that they don't really need. We could possibly convince them to have 3 smaller bins and maybe tuck something there just to cover it. It's a nice entrance part of the town. Loads of people use that. It would be nice for a small fix maybe to just come off the wall at the side there and cover them up a little bit more. We can't tell them not to put bins there really. Everyone's got to be able to get rid of their rubbish. We just need to think about a way of making it nicer so the town doesn't look quite so bad with bins lit everywhere. So that's a conversation that needs to be had moving forward. Other than that, normal helping residents with queries about things, licensing, supporting the HOP with their application and stuff going on there, which has been passed over to Lucy for estates as well. Nothing much more exciting than that, I'm afraid.
Thank you.
Oh, I just did want to add that I have written to Sainsbury's again about the lighting down the other way that connects the car park. Now, while Sainsbury's say it's not theirs, the lamp posts are almost identical to the lamp posts that are in the Sainsbury's car park, and the bird deterrents on the top are identical too. So I have ventured out there and taken some pictures in the dark so that the manager can see how unsafe it is. So with support from the police, I'm hopeful we'll get a resolution there.
Thank you. Any other questions for you? Okay, anything from members of the public?
If I have one.
Please do.
On the 20th of February, I submitted a Freedom of Information request to find out how much this staff grievance would cost. To be told that it was over £30,000. Is there any resolution to this, and do you know actually how much it's going to cost in total and when it will end?
Well, we're discussing the resolution of that later this evening. Cost-wise, I've got the updates since that, and it's not changed too much.
I've just got a couple. The front shop, the fruit shop in the convenience store, you know, the green windows.
Brian's Borley stores.
Yeah, those 2 windows are just going to go. I don't know who or what can be done. Secondly, the cones, so they haven't been replaced. I
They
was
haven't,
past it
okay.
today. That could do with a complete sweep because they're all
The
busted
Milford
up.
cones.
Yes. Station Road roundabout, bad, and it's getting worse.
It's falling apart.
It completely
Yeah.
is. Pound Road, the mound cover, the first one's been done,
Yeah.
but the second one has been left.
Seen and reported.
Also, is there any chance of letting know the public that next Thursday, Friday, A47 is going to change again, and they're going to be doing the other side of the road where the other 3 lanes is. So could you tell people, so when they drive down there, it's going to be all different again?
That's fine, I will.
That's for next Thursday. I think that would be, because every time I'm hearing people saying, I go down and then 2 or 3 days later it's changed again. Well, 2 other things. The cost of the heritage lease, is that going to be made public tonight? Of how much that is going to cost with the 50/50?
In the agenda pack, isn't it?
And that's going to be made public. And secondly, agenda number 18, the touchscreen donation to you guys to do with the touchscreen, the donation that's going to be given. Because I'm still you've still got 20 grand of a recording studio that's been 2 years now, and it's like 4.5 grand for a chess club, and with now a donation for a touchscreen, it's
You're conflating a couple of different items.
probably, but it's down to money, isn't it?
Okay,
So it's like,
so the recording studio, sorry, switch hats, Phoenix Group, the recording studio has been built. It's there. It's just we have to now go to the next stage of fundraising for the equipment.
you've had 20 grand, so the 20 grand didn't even cover
The
instruments.
actual work needed to convert the space was what the money was for.
So now you need money for instruments.
For the recording part of it, yes.
Is there any way that you can publicise, put pictures up, show people
Yeah, of course,
where the
there are-
20
yeah,
grand is
yeah,
going?
there are
Because I don't
pictures,
quite
yeah.
understand
That's
a
fine.
recording studio.
So it's the
And
wrong
it's-
it's the wrong forum for those questions because that's not a town council matter, but I'm happy to discuss
Well, you're
that.
here. You're here. So this
That's-
is why I brought it, because
that's-
it's in the agenda for you to have
Okay, so
donation
the
for-
license is to mount something on the exterior of the building,
Yes,
and for the electric that will take, that's what that's for.
right, but can
We'll
you
be
show the
discussing
other
that
one
in
as
the item
well?
further on, so you'll know.
Do you know what I mean? Show what you're spending.
Cost a lot of money to convert a place.
Okay,
In terms of
Take
capital.
pictures, show us where you're up to.
we'll move on now. Anybody else?
The only other point I would make, like I mentioned to Lucy before, Cromer Road, we're still having lots of problems with cars that need to go up to the traffic lights, still not being able. I know Don Birch, I saw him the other day, he was desperately trying to get up there and he just couldn't because of the flow of cars coming down. There was, about a week ago, about 4 or 5 cones put along there, just near the Simpson Close junction, but they disappeared after about 2 days. When they were there, the traffic flowed beautifully up and down there.
Well, that was a conversation we did have with Highways when we were doing the walk and talk for the other. So those cones should be there because that was the problem they identified, or residents had identified. So I'll have to chase to see where, who's moved those cones, who knows. But they were, Highways
Well, there
had put
was
them
Aid
there.
and Water were dealing with a water leak there, which had been going for about 2 weeks. When it seemed to be around that time when they disappeared.
Okay. Well, I'll ask if they could be replaced.
Talking about SAM2 stats, do we publish them to the town council website? The last parish I lived in did do that. They published just the maximum figure and the amount of vehicles
that went
I
past.
think we do, but it's a good idea and depends on the shop.
I don't think we do. I've got some data to analyse at the moment. There's quite some snazzy graphs and things. I'm sure we can whip something up. I'll speak with Wendy about what we could do with that.
Good idea.
I'm full of them.
Right, move on to finance then. 7.1 moves to approve the expenditures since the February meeting. Anybody have any comments on that? Have you received any queries?
Another one, Chair.
Propose we accept that then. Someone for second? All in favour? Thank you. Also, you received the bank reconciliation, which shows our books balance, which is good.
I just comment on that, Chair. My thanks to Wendy and to Yes for very comprehensive sort of financial documents now. It's very fine grained, very clear, properly laid out. And this new system is actually much simpler to use, more thorough as well. It took me an hour and a quarter to complete it. The old system, you spent 5 minutes checking things and 45 minutes just trying to find paper invoices. So the new system is far superior.
Excellent.
Thank the office concerned for getting it in place.
Just on, can I just say something on the bank reconciliation statement, which shows that the, early in March, there's £516,000. Associated with this, the Finance Committee received a forecast to early March at its meeting. The positive news is that having absorbed expenditure for a new gator, for new lights at Rocket Cross, for clearing the land in Nelson Road, for the drainage works at Waterside, having absorbed all of that, and also the costs which have been referred to earlier this evening in relation to the internal issues the council is having to deal with. Having absorbed all of those costs, we are in budget and we'd probably like to have a small surplus. We're not having to use at this stage reserves for some of those new projects. So I think that is encouraging news, and of course at the end of the year we will have the final accounts and a new budget that's going to have to be, or a revised budget that's going to have to be constructed with new coding. So I just thought I'd bring that to the council's attention.
Thank you, Rory. So you've proposed a finance policy and an investment policy which...
Yes, that will vote from the two auditors' reports, and they are in front of the council tonight. They've been to the Finance Committee, and the Finance Committee is recommending their adoption.
So does anyone have any queries on those for Eric? In that case, I propose that we accept the finance reserves policy as the draft that we've received. If someone would like to second that. Julia, all in favour? Thank you. And the investment policy, again, that looked straightforward, and it's good to keep our reserves in different places to get the best benefit out of them.
Yes, and also it does provide a formula for what should be the minimum or the recommended minimum for a general reserve, which is that reserve for the members of the public is to deal with any unforeseen contingencies and to ensure that if we suddenly didn't get our council tax preset from the district council, that we would have some funds to clear up the business. So it does contain that. Every council has to have a general reserve, and that now specifies the formula in the level.
Are you proposing that we...
I propose that.
Someone like to second that? Stephen, all in favour? Thank you. That's good to get another two items ticked off the action list. The last bit in finances is the scrutineer's report, which I think is probably what we're alluding to more, but it's much
Yeah,
easier to
yeah.
do.
Everything is in order.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, there was nothing else on finance. Item 8, correspondence. Not aware of any.
There's no correspondence. The only thing we've got is a later agenda item. Clerk's decisions, there's no real decisions, but just as an update, Wendy and James at the weekend helped a vulnerable family movement to some safe housing, so we're, helping.
That's good. Okay, thank you. So item 9 is recommendations from the Events and Tourism Working Group. Do we need to speak on those?
I can, you've got that highlighted bit of paper.
The PE Day is the first event coming up, isn't it?
Yes. So I've just done a very rough outline of the day. It's very similar to what we did for the D-Day. I'm just looking for agreement that you're happy for us to go ahead in a similar way. We'd be raising the flag. The town crier, I would say, is pieces. It's in line with all the guidance. Yes. Has anyone got any questions about it? Can we? Yeah, can we vote for that?
Yeah.
Would someone propose that? Tracy, anyone second? Julia, yeah. All in favour? Okay.
I think we have got the VE Day bench now, haven't we, to install?
Yeah.
We do. I think there's been conversations about where it's going to go. I'm looking at you, James. But yeah, we have the VE Day bench.
Oh, no, it's the D-Day one we've got, isn't it? The D-Day we haven't got.
Is that the right way around?
D-Day.
Yeah, so the VE Day we haven't.
The VE Day bench also includes VJ Day, so they've got to produce
Yes,
lots of later in the year.
We've got some benches, they're coming. Okay, so that's fine. So the second part of this is recommendation for full council to agree purchasing and flying a rainbow flag for the Pride month of June. If you've had a chance to read it, it's a bit of gumph about how to be progressive and inclusive. Most councils, local authorities are flying something for and celebrating the Pride. I've given an example quote of like a standard kind of quality flag, that's something that we would fly. I think it was about £60 for like a full-size flag. I'm basically looking for you to agree that we fly it. The dates, I think most people do it between the D-Day and then the Armed Forces Day, depending on if we're going to fly flags for those days, which we normally, I think, we would. So there's like a good 2-week kind of portion in the middle, which we could well fly that flag. Yeah, so.
I would say this year, obviously, we've got a flagpole in Warren Park, but we are investigating the flagpole to go outside here, which
we are. I don't think that will be done in time for this. Yeah, so at the moment, yeah, it'll be the War Memorial Park. Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Well, I move it, Chair.
Sorry?
I move we do it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I'll second that. All in
Okay.
favour? We can afford the flag.
Okay, good. And then the final thing for me is to just agree the budget for the mini music festival. I would ideally like the same as the street feast if we can cap it at 3,000. I'm under budget for the street feast currently. So I would like to come in under budget under the 3,000, but it just gives me a little wiggle room. So included in that would be staffing costs, road closure, hiring the PA system for the full day and the evening, advertising, and 9 hours plus of live music, including a well-known headlined act. Basically, live music would be on the clock between 12 noon and 9 p.m. We would pre-warn the local residents. It's not going to go on later than 9. We feel like that's a reasonable time and it's in keeping with sort of noise regulations. Yes, so that is what I'm after, basically. If we could agree on 3,000 cap maximum, please, for the mini music festival. Has anyone got any questions for me?
There is a budget of 15,000 for these things.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's,
I've kind of divided it up per my,
so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I should have enough by the end of the year.
I'll propose that, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All in favour? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Plenty to do now.
Yeah, that's been done. Thank you.
Item 10, there's 2 planning applications on there, plus also the one in Cherry Tree Lane. I don't know if anybody has any comments on those.
well, no comment, I mean, I don't, given there's quite minor applications, that 10, 1 and 2, I don't have any comments. I think on Cherry Tree Lane, it's an application for 8 houses. It's the rear of the property which is currently scrubland or large garden. Other than the application at this stage, we don't have any observations or comments from those that could well have an interest in this. The highways comments given that particular part of Cherry Tree Lane would be interesting. It's also a piece of scrubland or former garden that could well be diversity issues, sorry, not diversity, biodiversity issues, and landscaping issues that are involved there. So what I would suggest to the Town Council is that we note the application, but we would like to see comments from landscaping, logical and highways comments before we make a final decision. It might also be interesting to see whether local residents there also have any concerns, because it is, for that part of Cherry Tree Lane, quite a sizable development. So I think we just need to defer making any informed view about it at this stage, because we need to know that further information.
So we need to ask for the extension.
So the ask for the extension, and these are the grounds.
I'm obviously not going to comment on the application because of my other role. Just a point of information, if the council thinks that it ought to be considered by the Development Committee rather than be left to officers, then I would suggest that you ask Councillor Shires behind me to call it. Yeah.
I think it's very difficult for us at this stage to know whether there are substantive objections there or not. And I don't think we should be rushing in to say no objection or saying we do object without having that further information.
If we put it on the agenda again for next month,
Yes.
by then we'll know, and then we can make that.
I think also, given the size of it, it probably won't get to a development committee probably until the end of April or May.
July or August.
July or August, there we are.
I may have a rather large one months ago to do.
Right, okay. And I just move that if the rest of the colleagues are comfortable with that.
Yes. So, well, so our decision is to no comment on the first 2 and defer on the third one.
We just need to give some grounds to the
Yeah.
officers.
Thank you. Item 11, we've had a complaint from, I presume some, I don't know where they live actually, but they're.
Correspondence, not complaint.
The bus stop in Norwich Road, opposite the end of Millfield Road, when buses stop there, obviously the way the traffic is at the moment is causing a lot of traffic delays. So they were asking if the bus stop could be moved somewhere else for the duration. I don't know quite where it could move to, where it would make, it's still going to be in Norwich Road, wherever it is. But, if anyone who
Councillor Shires, would that not involve highways?
It is highways. Sol's left the meeting, but I will speak to Sol about it if you're happy for me to take that.
I know Bob's highlighted the fact that when the bus stops there, it stops people coming out of Millfield Road, it also stops people going up Norwich Road, and it also stops people turning left into Millfield Road, especially the big wagons, because they haven't got enough turn circle.
So is the proposal a permanent fix rather
It would
than
have to be
temporary fix?
a permanent move. So Millfield Road Junction isn't blocked, so you've still got access and egress into and out of.
If it's appropriate for the council to respond to the author of the correspondence, to ask for their permission to forward that on to me. And I will see what we can do with that.
I mean, a permanent move, I think, would take quite a while, and a temporary move might be possible, I'm not sure. Again, it would need highways approval.
Can I just ask, in previous projects that we've worked on with this, it's always been, bus stops have always been able to be put by the bus companies, not by highways. They can basically put a bus stop, are they right?
So the bus shelters belong to the town council.
Yeah.
But if there is a specific safety reason, then I believe we should be able to influence it.
Because I think we should amend it on second reading. It's actually 2 points, isn't it? It's not
Yeah,
just
there's one-
Millfield, it's the one further on as well.
Further up by houses,
Yeah, it's the one by
Yeah.
for Viewing Road.
that's the one.
Yeah.
I was going to come to that because
Sorry.
that is a nightmare.
Yeah,
Why
it
there's
is.
no
It is.
bus lay-by put in there, I really do not know, because it is ludicrous. You've got a bus stop with a traffic island, and it just stops every movement.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy location. The other one, I think, was been there decades. They serve the canning factory, if I remember correctly. They've just carried it on regardless of the increase in traffic.
Well, perhaps you could widen the question to cover all the bus stops around the road.
Yeah, I thought you were going to suggest widening of the road.
If only.
That as well, maybe. Okay. Item 12, I should have declared an interest on that one as well. Item 12.
Yeah, item 12, okay.
I'll just briefly describe what it is and leave it to you. The town council rents the old settlers' rooms in Vicarage Street, which is used by the Information Centre and Heritage Centre, and then sublets it to the Heritage Group. The lease has come to an end, and the diocese where it belongs to require the council to pay the legal costs of drawing up a new lease. The church will offer to pay half the cost, which is the figure that we've got in there, which I think is £700 or something.
220.
5 years, I think. Right, I'll tell you what.
It was also the case, I don't know if that one's not this, but we've also, I believe, we've identified that we're going to say, we believe that our insurance covers our liability.
That's been resolved.
That's been resolved, but it doesn't put their agreement to do
Yeah,
that.
the Heritage Group's paying its own insurance.
Okay, that's been resolved, good. Well, I just move we do this.
Yeah. Second,
Can I just clarify that's for the 720 including the land registry fee? Yeah.
You in favour of that? Thank you. Item 13, one of the items that came out of the health and safety audit was that we're not very good on welfare facilities at the cemetery workshop. So this is looking at purchasing a containerised welfare unit that can sit down in the compound and provide dressing and washing facilities to a better standard down there for James and the ground scheme. So I think there were 2 quotes there, aren't there, which
There's a couple of versions. There's a quote A from a company with a used version and a new version, and there's a quote B from a company with a refurbished and then a modern refurbished version. But they all contain a kitchenette, like a table, seating area, toilet, and they're all the ISO contained style ones.
does that include any costs of connecting it up, the electricals or whatever?
I feel like it was, we were talking about chemical toilets, so it doesn't need to be connected to anything. I think it would just be like a regular extraction.
Chairman, just say there is financial provision for this because we are carrying a reserve for cemetery projects of just over 70,000 at the moment. And therefore, this is precisely the project, the kind of project we can spend part of that reserve on.
Yes.
It's not in any way compromising the council if we do this on any other project in the cemetery, or in providing for a preliminary cost that associated with the looking at the potential for a new cemetery.
So, which one? Oh, sorry, Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think my recommendation would be that with the new unit, 7,500. That sounds to be the best value. Why buy a second-hand one? But more money,
Yes.
or a possibly slightly dearer, just like 1,000 less, we can get brand new. To give us a long, useful life.
Yes, yeah.
Can we also look as whether or not that there's a monthly fee to, as you say, extract?
Yes, I think there would,
Without going
well, there
into
would
much
be
details.
with any of these choices. I think it would be a standard thing for any of them. So
Fair
that's just
enough.
something to. I don't know. I don't know how much that would be at this stage. I have to investigate that.
The flushing away.
Yeah.
I suspect another son is pumping out.
No.
Well, if you would like to pose that, then Paul, Tracy second, one vote.
And we just double check then. So we're looking at the new one for 7,500 plus all the extra lifting and everything. Yeah.
7,900.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 14, an action that came out of the meeting in December was to do a cultural review of the organisation to see how efficient we are and how well we get on with each other and so on. Obviously, you've got had the report in the pack and Jasmine's carried out a summary there. You see there are areas where we're there are relationships are not great.
Down. I'll just read it out. Okay.
We've got it.
Has everyone on the public got it as well? No. No. Can we ferry it round then if I'm not going to read them? Are there any more copies?
So covering the
So the actions that come out of that, I would suggest that they're all things that we should agree to do. What I'd like to think we do as an early thing is to have an employee engagement form, which is basically all of our employees plus some councillors who meet every couple of months to discuss general issues, not sort of operational issues, but sort of relationship and how things are going. And I would suggest that maybe two councillors join that, and it would be different two councillors each time, so that everyone gets to know each other over time and different points of view. And that would then link into the employee of the month and something else I was going to mention that so the employee of the month would be part of that, just to flagging up good performance that someone's done. And the final item they suggested was you said we did list, which is a fairly standard thing in industries, but when issues are raised by staff, that once we've decided what we're doing, we publish something to say what we've done, so that we'll see that we're progressing forward and things aren't being ignored. So I think that's something we can implement straight away, and then the 7 or 8 training programs, we can ask if we need to draw a program for that. so that all our staff are suitably trained. The mental health first aid, do we have one of those now?
No,
No, so again, that's probably,
there's some special training for that.
yes, so that's probably a priority training, isn't it? So that should probably be done before the other ones.
We actually missed the free introductory course online actually, beginning last month. I got a notification of it and it was the day it was on, so I couldn't join it.
That's why it's free.
No, it was free for anybody who signed up. So I signed up.
So, any comments from other councillors who obviously read the report? Yeah. Okay. Well, I propose that we action all the recommendations that they made with that employee forum and mental health as the priorities. Well, two priority, but it's more of a priority. Alan, second that. All in favour? Thank you. Sort of leading on to that, item 15 is some quotes for staff first aid courses. I think we have St John and Rick Cross, don't we?
Yes, two standard ones. Quite a variance in price difference for the same number of delegates.
I think St John was the better value.
St John was sort of cheaper for two, I think.
Do they both cover the same type of training?
Yes, it's
Emergency first aid at work.
first aid at work, emergency.
It's 6 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, so we'd be able to get the full staff and team, and if there were any councillors or anyone who came to events and things, then obviously it would be helpful to have first aid for that, so, yeah.
That's what we did last time.
Yeah.
Staff our councils.
We joined.
Yeah, I think we'd be looking to do it here, so if we could get.
Item 17, co-options. I believe we've had some applications now.
We've had one application, we did receive another, but they haven't lived in the parish for quite long enough, so we'll wait for the time to tick there. I think we are just looking to discuss who's going to interview, are you using the same panel and structure as before? Yeah.
So, has the closing date passed?
Closing date was today,
So there will only be one then.
so there's one,
Okay.
yeah. And then, as per, I think it was in the cultural review, we'd be looking to re-advertise it again with another month.
Yeah.
So usual, yeah, until we.
So we're going until the papers are all filled.
Yeah,
So
so
you let us
basically,
know of a date for.
yeah, if you're happy to do the same process,
you did
we'll
before,
do that again.
So we commit on the 8th, maybe?
Okay. That's fine, we'll sort that,
Bring that to the next
Yeah.
council.
absolutely,
So if anybody else wants to apply,
yeah. I'll print you some forms.
okay. So item 18, again, let's not get involved, but that we obtained probably 2 years ago planning permission to put the touch screen on the front of the old Barclays building near where the cash machine used to be. So this is an item to agree a licence with Phoenix to put it on, which is fair enough, and to agree a donation to contribute towards the electric supply and so on. So again, I shall comment, but I don't know if
We haven't had a suggestion, I know, that is open to the floor, as it were.
Just a donation for the electric that being used?
Yeah, I
Or
think,
the inconvenience of putting it, setting up or?
yeah, it's nothing in particular, it's just donation.
Yeah, the main cost is we, covering their electricity.
Yeah.
So we just give an idea of how much power that screen uses.
And is the screen going to be on 24/7 or is it on certain?
well, let's be on, but it's
In theory, there'd be some sort of standby mode, so if you weren't touching it, it would turn itself off.
People that haven't got internet, go and touch the screen and
So it's basically the website.
And what else have we got covered for breakages, vandalism, general wear and tear?
That's a fabulous question. I imagine that would be covered under our insurance,
Insurance,
but
yeah,
that
but
is
just to
something to
double
double
check.
check.
Yeah.
It is vandal proof.
Diving in there and
saying,
I'm obviously, whether or not you servicing or anything like that, Jasmine.
Yeah, that's fine. So,
Do we need to defer this then until we get costs?
can we agree the license agreement and defer the donation?
Yes,
Would that be
yes,
okay?
yeah, because at least we've
Let
waited
us know what
2
we're talking
years.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've waited 2 years to get this
Yeah.
up and running, so.
Yeah. Proposed that we do.
All in favour? Thank you.
Okay, so we'll defer that. I'll make some investigations about like electricity costs and see
So
the next time.
Quite too much.
Well,
Words up.
yeah, no, that's
It's
fair.
just nice to have an idea of what we're looking
And
at.
did you say it's going to be accessible all the time? It will just be turned on when someone activates it?
I believe
So it's
so,
not going to be
yeah.
like live all day, flashing
I
everywhere.
imagine most things these days have a standby, and if you're not using it, it just sort of goes
And
to
then
power.
activate, it wakes up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So, yeah. The manual is like this thick, so I'm sure it's got lots of fancy things that we can program into it.
I'll never ever find.
You find it once, you can't do it
Can't
again.
be at the same time, yeah.
Well, obviously, the electric is the main cost, there's obviously Wi-Fi
Yes.
as well, and
Yeah.
that's pretty trivial, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But the transparency.
absolutely, that's fine. I'll make some economies.
I'm sure the manual will tell you what its fast supply is. Okay, so items for next agenda, we've already got a level of plan working party. I think Wendy was investigating, contacting people who were on the previous one, yeah.
Previous members, I think, I don't have a specific update on that.
Oh, sorry,
A member of the fire brigade spoke to me the other day. Apparently, near the bus hub, there was a bench commemorating 100 years of the fire brigade.
yes.
Where was it gone?
Well, the bench actually got taken away, but the top rail which had the inscribed bit on was missing, so that was missing before it got taken away. We have had correspondence, Mr. Piper.
Can we reinstate that somewhere near the fire brigade station?
Yeah, I think he said he was willing to buy another plaque. I have
Right.
no idea what the original one said, but,
Do we have a spare bench?
well, we've got other benches about, so we can attach the plaque to the bench.
But don't you think it should be near the fire station?
Well, that would be, I suppose, yeah. Well, that's,
Would be ideal to put it back where it was.
well,
Yes.
Well, we can put that on the next DNA.
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jasmine.
but in the meantime, we can find out whether he's still willing to provide a new plaque.
Can you tell me who I speak to?
Well,
Somebody.
yeah, when I was on district council, I had correspondence about this and some judgments times. The difficulty is, as you said, the chair, the seat is disintegrated and the plaque has been lost. My recollection, then, now, is that what the mayor has said is the case. You just need to make contact with the individual concerned, see what could be done. There is still some seats about which, with a bit of repair, could potentially be used.
I'll see if I can dig out there. I'm sure there's some emails about
I'll pass the clock and look up. I know it is, I'm just trying to think what I was doing now, I know exactly what it is. I'll pass it on to you, Jasmine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the street naming on Nursery Drive, we've been asked to think about, we contacted the schools to come up with a theme and some ideas as a competition.
We have no idea.
That'd great.
Yeah, so Nicola has emailed the schools, the nurseries. We've said if they can do a little competition within the school, we're looking for like a theme. So for example, like birds, and then some example names, so like Swan Road, Crow Road, etc. And then I think we said that at the very least the mayor would choose, but I'm sure that, you know, perhaps a bunch of councillors. And then Bob has kindly offered to donate some books to all schools out of your fund.
Can I just suggest that maybe, because we did this before with the nurseries, didn't we? They didn't really come back with anything. Because it's on the nursery plot,
Yes.
flowers, trees.
Yeah.
To me, just to acknowledge that,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
even wildlife,
Yeah.
because obviously that was a big thing.
We've
It's
also
not planning.
contacted the older schools and the high schools, so
Oh,
I
good.
feel like we'll get some reasonable response.
I just thought,
Yeah, absolutely.
acknowledgement of where it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just quickly in regards to the street lights, I'm just waiting for more information about exactly who's going to pay for them. Whether we need to pay and then adopt them, or whether they pay for them, we just maintain them, or just there's a little grey area that I need to just work out.
Okay, thank you. So, next meeting is events and tourism is on the 10th of April, finance on the 15th. The annual town meeting mentioned earlier on the 17th. Forecast on the 29th. DNA is 13th of May.
Apologies for the 29th. I won't be here.
Okay, you need to email.
I got my date,
The 27th of May, that's the one where we vote for
Change
the
our
new mayor and the
It's the
committees.
only thing off, isn't it? Because normally it's.
I don't
no,
know.
the election.
The
Election year is
That's
normally
right.
at the beginning of the
Yeah.
I got that confused as well.
Yeah, I got last time, so.
And was corrected by Wendy.
Okay, so that's the end of the public party meeting. Thank you for attending.
Right.
I'm coming. Thank you. There we have it.